Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Connor Williams, and we're back with another one of our 24/7 news report videos. As always, we start the news videos with our headline news, and our headline news is that Everton are keen on Burnley defender James Tarkowski. Any deal for the defender will likely hinge on Everton avoiding relegation and maintaining their top flight status. This has come from the Football Insider. Personally, I don't think he's a bad defender. There are rumours that his contract might be up at the end of this season, which is even better. I know he split the fan base yesterday on Twitter. I was having a look. That's what people were saying. There were some people that like the idea of this. Some people don't like the idea of this, and why. But his contract is due to expire this summer. If we can get him on a free, I don't mind it. A lot of people are saying he only plays well in a low block. And I can see why they'd say that, because that's all we've seen him do. But in my opinion, you don't know for certain. I guess it depends as well on what the club want and Frank Lampard want moving forward. But you don't know for certain. We only know and are judging this off Burnley, and his position is playing for Burnley, which he plays very well in that low block. But he's not played the high block. People are judging this off Burnley completely. So nobody's really seen him play a high line. So we don't know for sure that he can't do it. We're just assuming it. He might not be able to, and he might be like Michael Keane, where he's better in a low block. But it also depends what the club want to do and what Frank Lampard wants to do in terms of his vision. If you want to play high-line football and Tarkowski doesn't end up being that player, you buy somebody with a little bit more pace, somebody who can run back, and somebody, who's just that little bit better at playing a high line. If you want to continue this low block football that we've got at the minute, that's a little bit more pragmatic, which makes us a lot better, a lot solid. And we've been playing like this under Ancelotti as well last season. And sign him in. Him and Mina, him and Michael Keane, they do very well together. Hire it, sign him, sorry. I guess it depends what you want from the club. Is he my number one? No, I think there's other centre-backs I'd like in the summer. But for a free transfer, I'm not going to stick my nose up at it. I think it's a clever little bit of business. It's a player that last year, was it, or the year before, a couple of the top clubs were willing to spend a bit of money on. So it's not, I think people are forgetting he's a very, very competent defender. It's a position we really do need some depth in. Yerry Mina is absolutely vital for us, but his body just won't have it. So it's important we have another reliable centre-back. We'd probably see a couple out as well. We'd probably see the end of Mason Holgate, maybe Michael Keane. I think it defo seal the end of Mason Holgate at Everton for sure, because then we'll have, I think it's like 5-6 centre backs then, and that's a little bit too much for a team. Well, we are playing free at times, but that's just a little bit too many. And Mason Holgate did have his suitors, obviously, last summer. I believe Brighton were looking at him. I personally would have sold him to Brighton, and I think he'd have done very well at Brighton. But alas, he stayed. But this summer, I wouldn't be surprised if we got another centre-back and Mason Holgate was the one to leave. But I on Tarkowski, I really like him. I think turning up our noses on a free transfer is a bit daft. I think he's a very competent player. And I like him. I think it's harsh that we're judging, that people are going, oh, we can't play a high line. You don't know for certain that we can't play a high line. I think I think people are just assuming you can't. But he's a very, very competent centre back. So I'd happily have him. We go on to more transfer news now, and this is a player I don't think I would like as much. But this is Adama Traore, which has come from the Football Insider. Apparently, we're interested in him, and Barcelona do not want to make his loan deal there permanent. He's been targeted by Everton as a potential to replace Richarlison if he leaves. The Football Insider have said that Barcelona just aren't interested. And obviously, Kevin Felwell brought him to Wolves, so Kevin Felwell knows him very well. Wingers failed to score in 15 appearances and got 2 assists in his first 2 outings. including a 4-2 win over Atletico Madrid, and then sort of went off since then. I don't like him as a football player in terms of his ability. I think he's very fast. I think he's very big. I don't think he has a very good end product, though. There's been a lot of times where I've watched Wolves, and I think his end product's very bad. Richarlison is not. That's not a like-for-like replacement. Richarlison can play through the middle, play either side of the wings, and is a lot more technical. Traore is not as technical. He's just a very big, fast lad. So, and don't get me wrong, he is athletic. I think he'd make a brilliant winger in rugby or an NFL player, that whatever the ones that runs are. I don't know NFL very well, so apologies for that. But, you know, as a winger in rugby, it'd be brilliant. Who's going to want to try and take him down, even if you could get close to him? But as a football player, his end product's not good enough for me. So I personally would swerve this one, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure Felwell is probably done his, you know, been keeping his eye out on him, and will make it hopefully a sensible decision. You know, it's one of them, isn't it? Moving on, we do have the news that Richarlison is being investigated by the Merseyside police for throwing a lit flare during a 1-0 win over Chelsea. Brazilian is also at risk of disciplinary action from the FA. This has come via iPaper Sport. This sums it up, doesn't it? A great win, great atmosphere, great fans, great play. And there's always that little weird thing that goes and that just happens to be there, just in the back of your head going, brilliant. And this is it. I think this investigation will be very, very short and sweet. From what my understanding is, obviously the pictures make it look like he's thrown it into the crowd. The videos, and if you watch that on a telly and you don't know Goodison Park's layout, you might assume that as well. But he throws it between the stands in a safe bit where there's no fans there. He throws it towards the church bit. So there's the first issue with this. It's not throwing it in the crowd at all. And there's thousands of witnesses there to tell you it wasn't. So it'll be a very short investigation. Also, the media keep reporting it as a flare. It's not a flare, it's a smoke bomb. If you Google what a flare looks like, a flare actually has a big bright flame. They normally come in, I don't know if you can get them in other colours, I'm not a pyrotechnics expert, but they normally tend to come in red. You know, like you see on films with flare guns and lit flares. That's a flare, it's a flame. It produces a lot of heat. If you'd lob that into the crowd, I'd understand that's quite dangerous. It can cause a fire. Again, not a pyrotechnics expert, but smoke bombs tend to just be smoke. Don't know if they're hot, because I've never held one. But it didn't look hot as Richarlison handled it. And he threw it out the church, towards the church where there's no fans. I think this investigation is a bit silly. I think the FA are being a bit silly, unless it's more of an image thing, which I think it probably is. It's the same as when Harvey Elliott did it with an actual flare. He just picked it up and he got in trouble. Didn't throw it, didn't do anything, just picked it up, and it was an image thing for the FA. So I think Richarlison will get fined from the FA because of an image problem. You know, they don't want it's seen as bad image. For the Merseyside police to get involved just seems a bit silly. I'm sure, I'm sure it's a very quick investigation. It'll be over very quickly. And I'd like to think they've probably got more important things to be doing than looking at Richarlison throwing smoke bombs into the crowd. Speaking of Richarlison, though, Everton are hopeful of securing a 50 million transfer fee for the forward this summer, according to Football Insider. The same outlet claimed on the 19th that the Blues will listen to both offers for both Brazilian and fellow striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the end of the season, as Lampard looks to engineer an overhaul of his squad. Richarlison obviously did score against Chelsea. According to Football Insider, he's instructed his agent to find him a club that's competing in the Champions League next season. Take this with a pinch of salt, the Football Insider, but I hope this isn't. I hope this isn't true, but it probably is. He's a very good player. I think. I don't think he's a world beater. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's a very good player, and he's very important to us. I really like him. I think he's one of my favourite players in the current squad. I think he's very important to us. He seems to get us the goals when we need them. He loves the fans. I think he likes being at the club. I just think he's got bigger dreams than bobbling around where we are at the minute. And I think he'll be very much missed when he goes. But that's football. You know, where's the loyalty in football nowadays? He was never going to stay till he, retired. So as long as we can make the money back we've spent, I mean, if we just got 50 million, no profit, then I'd be a little bit, I mean, it's 50. Yeah, if we can't make a bit more profit on it, I'll be a little bit disappointed. Calvert-Lewin, I don't think anybody's going to come in and buy him, to be completely honest, after the season he's had. But Richarlison will be the one we look to sell. So it'll be a shame to see him go. If he does go, like I said, say with a pinch of salt. But if Lampard's going to overhaul the squad, he's got to make sure he gets his replacement right. We failed when Lukaku left to get a replacement. Obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin having that breakout season last season helped us out. But we failed to replace those goals from Lukaku. It's a very common trend with Everton. We sell a good player and struggle to replace them up front anyway. So we've got to make sure we get it right. And if Adama Traore is the name being linked, then I don't have the biggest amount of optimism for that, unfortunately. We do have the news that a new loan deal for a wanted keeper, Blues goalkeeper Joao Virginia, has spent the current loan in Sporting Lisbon, and the Portuguese side are interested in extending it for a year. Sporting have an option to purchase him for $5 million, but according to Portugal's Record newspaper, the Lions have not been convinced that they should go all out at a permanent move and would like a second loan. Whether the player wants to do that himself is another story. He's only made 7 appearances and none of them have been in the league. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, he's not really Sporting aren't too convinced on him. I don't think he's a massive loss then. Obviously, he's quite young. He might end up being a world beater. You never know. Keepers mature at an older age as well. Look at Pickford, for example. People were writing him off 2 seasons ago, and now he's been one of our best players this season. But ultimately, I mean, as long as the $5 million is still included in the second loan deal and he's not at the end of his contract at the end of it, I would happily loan him out again to try and get that $5 million in the bag. Otherwise, I don't think we're going to get €5 million offered to us again by any other team. But if it works out that his contract ends at the end of that, don't do that, because they are just looking to get him on a free, which isn't exactly what we need at the minute. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Joao Virginia stays or goes. We also have some nice news here that Everton icon Tony Hibbert is to make an emotional return to Liverpool later this month for a tribute in his honour. He's a one-club man, homegrown hero, made 329 appearances for the Blues between 2001 and 16. Obviously, now he lives in France, for any of you know, loves his fishing, plays for a local amateur football team as Lucy. He scored as well a couple of months ago, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it was a former Everton winger, Ronnie Goodlass, who coached Hibbert as a youngster. He's organised a tribute night for him at the Hilton Hotel in the city centre. He told The Echo, we all know Tony's a quiet and humble lad. Once you get to know him, he's great. We're raising funds for a charity, Health Through Sport, and he told me I'd love to do it. It's great for him to come home for a night like this. His family are coming too, and there will be friends he hasn't seen in a while. He's certainly looking forward to it, and hopefully we can have his former teammates from the FA Youth Cup winning side back together as well. That's quite nice to see. Yeah, that's really nice. I think everybody sort of liked Hibbert, didn't they? He seems to be a fella that people really liked. He's enjoying his life fishing at the minute. He's takes some photos with some huge fish. And he's getting some football in as well. It's nice to see. We also have the news that that fans are calling for a coach welcome for the Brentford game as well. Obviously, if you were there on Sunday, it was fantastic. Whether you went and watched the game or not, or just met the coach. My dad went because he's a season ticket holder, and he sent me some videos, and it looked amazing. I've seen others on Twitter. The dog being lifted up is fantastic. Such an Everton thing. It's beautiful. It's beautifully Everton. But yeah, it was fantastic. The crowd were up for it the whole game. I was watching it with my girlfriend and her dad, and the crowd were up for it. The players responded. It was a proper entertaining game. Even if I was a neutral, I think I would have enjoyed the game. It had fantastic saves from Pickford. For me, one of the saves of the season, that is unreal. The double save he makes, he has no right to get back and save that. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, you can see why fans want to continue it. I think this and the Crystal Palace game, me and Paul spoke the other day on the channel and said, yeah, why not? These are like cup finals. Why not? If it helps get the players over the line and gets us out of trouble, fantastic. But yeah, obviously, Everton Fans Forum and a couple of others have shared calls for a fan march. Said bring your flags, bring your banners, bring your voices up the Toffees. Absolutely fantastic to see. And if it's what we need to get this club out of trouble, over the line, then I'm all for it. And finally, we've got news that Jordan Pickford's done an interview and he said quality will come if Everton continue to produce battling displays. He said it's going to be hard work over the final 5 games and it's up to us as a team to keep working on the training pitch every day, giving 100% effort and commitment. And if we do that, the quality will come. And I think that was proven on Sunday. I think that was completely proven. The hard work will do us a lot of, put us in a lot of good stead. I think Chelsea were good, don't get me wrong. They had their chances. We had our chances as well. It wasn't a smash and grab by us. We had a couple of chances, Damari Gray, Mikalenko. Could have easily been 3-0 there. Our goal came through running down of their centre-back, a very good, experienced centre-back, and getting something from it. So I actually think what Pickford's saying is true. Just got to work hard, and that's all Everton fans want, is just to work hard. So it's great to see. But that is all I've got time for. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and comment down below any of the stuff I've spoken about. Do you want Richarlison? Do you think Richarlison should go? Let me know your thoughts on who should replace him. Do you think Adama Traore is a good replacement, or would you prefer someone else? And let me know who your someone else is in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the coach meeting up, how great it was if you went. Let me know your experiences of the day. I'd be happy to read them and hear them, especially if you saw the dog. It's one of my favourite things coming out of Sunday other than the result. Absolutely fantastic. I read a really good interview the other day as well by a lad called El Bretland about it with the owners. Quite good. They're not Everton fans, but they might be now. But yeah, and most importantly, guys, stay safe out there, and I will see you all very, very soon.